But before we go in it, we're going to do some science. So that is neuroimaging. And neuroimaging is a technique where you measure the activity in the brain. So any area of the brain which is holding on to blood supply is lighting up. And when it lights up, so when it's switched on, the neuroscan shows you red or yellow on the scan. And these two brains, one is neurotypical and one is neurodivergent, they're doing the exact same exercise. And one brain is actually making quite a lot of effort, and the other brain thinks, I'm not quite sure why I even got out of bed for this. So this is actually the diversity of thought and the massive contribution we can make. And what it starts with for us is disclosure. We've heard from Adam and from Hannah that they've grown up with their, I call them conditions now, I usually don't like the word, but I don't have a better one at the moment. So they grew up knowing, for example, Hannah, that she had dyslexia, and that's fine, it's part of her. But as Jenny mentioned, that's not the case for everyone, and especially those people in the workforce who are 30 and older, they will probably not have got an early diagnosis. So they grew up covering up. And they try to behave like everyone else. They just stared at least that's my example, I just stared at my classmates. And then I tried to do what they do. I tried to behave like they behave, but it was never really authentic and genuine, so they picked on me anyway. And it's something we've trained ourselves up to do. So we then somehow coming out suddenly, being ourselves and talking about something incredibly personal, talking about your neurodivergence is incredibly personal because it is your brain you're talking about. It is who you are. It's something very private. And once it's out there, you can't take it back. It's impossible. So a lot of people fear coming out, and they fear potential negative consequences career-wise, or any colleagues thinking that they're a little bit dumb, and that's why they're reluctant to disclose. And this growing up differently leaves a mark. And therefore, even if you disclose it, people struggle to ask for help. So when you work with a neurodivergent person, or when you manage a neurodivergent person, and they come to you and they say, yeah, I'm actually really struggling a tiny bit with this. So until it reaches this point, they will likely have tried absolutely everything else. So the best thing to do is then just to help. Do not say, oh yeah, you know, have you tried this and that? I promise you, they will have tried that. Asking for help is a really, really big thing, especially if you've spent your life covering up.